Hey, good morning, everybody. It is BCB Live. Drive Safe Dave here. Want to remind you that it is 9 days till Christmas, and you have just a little bit of time left to get out and get that special package for Drive Safe Dave and Sir Rick. Good morning, Sir Rick. 9 days left. Have you done all your Christmas shopping?
You know what? Christmas shopping's done. I want to encourage, if you're thinking about getting me something, I'm going to ask you to donate that to charity. That's what it's about. It's about giving, and it's not about me. I know you hear that from Drive Safe Dave. Get him all the presents. He wants all the glory, the fan to be the palm tree thing, leaves to be fanned upon. It is Drive Safe Dave. I'm saying, hey, it's a time to give. Let's give back. Tis the season to give to others and put our self-pride to the side. And with that, Drive Safe, how are you?
I'm doing very well this morning. And you know what? I do like a Christmas present under the tree. You know, when I was young, I didn't have a whole lot of presents when I was under the tree.
Dude, first of all, anybody who's ever watched this, you know, that whole tree was you. You were the only one. And not only was, you know, and some people said, well, Sir Rick, I was the only kid too, but you didn't grow up with the silver spoon that my friend here to the left grew up with. And you know what? It was silver, maybe platinum.
I don't believe it was that at all. I believe we were very utilitarian, we celebrated Christmas. We celebrated the joy of Christmas, but I'll tell you.
Producer, do you think you can you tell the difference between somebody that grew up struggling like myself and a guy right here, Drive Safe, that just grew up with everything handed to him? Can you just see it in how we are?
I think that really what it comes down to is the values that you have at the end of the day. And while I think you guys share a lot of the same values, I've seen the truck that Drive Safe Dave drives, and I know what he values.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 10-4. I do value a nice Kenworth or a good Freightliner. It just depends on the
which
kind
you
of truck.
Drive neither one. In which you drive neither one. Hey, but we will jump into that. You know, speaking of trucks, boy alive, did we have some crazy weather yesterday. Winds out all over the place. Here's the deal. I hope that most of you that were driving in it, well, let me put it this way. I hope you weren't driving in it. We talked about it. We had Buckle Up Bob on here. We put the warnings out there. Listen, when it comes to wind, when it comes to snow, that ice, there are certain things you don't gamble with, you don't take a chance with.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there were reports yesterday. They closed 70. They closed a lot of highways yesterday. There was a lot of vehicles overturned yesterday with the high-profile vehicles getting pitched because of the high winds. They're talking in excess of 100 miles an hour yesterday on high winds, straight line winds blowing around and knocking. And you know what? It doesn't matter what you have in the box at that point. You're driving down the road. You're getting pushed over.
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes to that Highway 287, we speak about that. For some reason, we get a lot of videos here showing Highway 287 up in Lamar, Colorado. That's the area, Drive Safe Dave. Over 107 miles an hour is what the gusts were going. And many places in Colorado were greater than 80 miles an hour. We saw some videos of there, some pictures of that. Producer, I'm going to say this. I think there's a news station on one of these. I don't know if you can show it or not, but it shows the wind that went through Kansas. And I think it was that Salina area. But Dave, I'm telling you, it's been a long time since I've seen wind like that. It was, you know how it is in Arizona when it brings them dust storms in?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what we saw yesterday in Kansas. And folks out there, here's what I want. If you were driving out there, if you were sitting in that truck stop, let's just say, and you have some video of that, you have some pictures of what you saw, hey, send those in to us. You know, email them to us, raise your hand, producer can get you a direct email or text to get those in here. We want to share that, Drive Safe, because it's, we learn from a lot, and we learn from pictures and videos, and when it came to that Nebraska, when that's high winds yesterday, there was a truck that got blew over in Nebraska, and the driver died. I mean, it's real, right? I mean, those things, when we send those warnings out, we talk to you about not driving in those winds, and it doesn't matter if at 70, 80, 60, Dave, it doesn't matter if you're empty per se versus a 45,000-pound load, right?
No, when you're talking high winds like that, it'll get up underneath the trailer, it'll push on the top, and it'll get up underneath there and just flip you, and you lose complete control, and it doesn't know where you're going to land or where you're going to slide into. You'll slide into any of the solid objects on the side of the road if there are some. I mean, it becomes severely dangerous. You know, we all experience the high winds a lot of the times out of Wyoming, right? and they have a lot of shutdowns. But I'm telling you, yesterday was just a wild occurrence across the country, stretching everywhere from New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, up into Denver. Places not normally, and this time of year, you talk about unbelievable type. I mean, you just talk about an unbelievable time of year to have this happen. What you got, producer?
Yeah, I mean, the winds were so bad that even the Iowa DOT said that they were not going to work scale houses. Where they completely shut down scale houses due to the high winds because they were afraid too many trucks were going to turn over whenever trying to get weighed in those stations and injure people around them, injure officers themselves. I mean, these winds are unlike things that we have seen in a long time. They're coming just after the tornado storms we were seeing just last weekend.
They spurred tornadoes. Those winds actually spurred up tornadoes with the storms that were on the tail end of that, and they actually had spot tornadoes go along. But we're talking about straight line push winds, and I'm telling you, out of control. I mean, you lose complete control of the vehicle at that point.
Yeah, and when a scale house is going to shut down, and let's just say if Oklahoma were to shut down, it's got to be bad. Some of these scale houses,
they don't
when they shut down, let me tell you, they're open more than the 7-Eleven. Those boys are open all day. Come on in and visit. You don't want to go shopping sometimes in those stores either, right?
And it's not a good time to shoot out. When you hear, oh, the scale house closed, let's roll. This isn't the time you roll, not when it's that dangerous, especially yesterday. I'm telling you, and you know what? I'm going to tell on a personal note. Frosty took a big hit yesterday at the Dovers out with the big high winds. So we've got some big damage to the big Frosty at the Dovers.
Yes, sir. And when it comes to those winds, it now starts affecting what's going on in the country, right? Because all of a sudden now, and it's not that the shippers and receivers are shutting down. They're still open. They're still making products. They're still creating those magical widgets. But what happens is now the trucks that were supposed to get empty this morning, that are maybe supposed to get empty tomorrow on a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're not going to make it, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to get there perhaps to get unloaded and get reloaded. And all of a sudden in a tight supply chain that we're in right now, it starts putting quirks in it. Why? Well, because next week is typically the week that trucks begin to shut down, especially those owner-operators, independent contractors. The largest vacation period for truck drivers is between that Christmas and New Year. And when drivers go out, right, on the week of a Christmas on a Saturday, if they're not home by Wednesday, they're starting to get a little antsy. Am I going to get home? And hey, that one more load sometimes doesn't work. So what we do see is a lot of drivers shutting down. And Dave, when we look at the volume right now, we see it still at 14,715. We see it remaining very consistent, kind of like we had spoke about, talking about the winds and how it was going to work out. So we see those volumes working out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So sorry about that. I'm switching locations here. Hey, but I got way too close to you. I almost felt like I was getting ready to.
I didn't know we were hugging. I didn't know we were going to put arms around each other and talk about freight.
I was thinking, am I getting ready to table dance with this guy? I didn't know what my next move was going to be. I just looked and I saw Dave taking out dollar bills. And I was like, well, this is getting uncomfortable. Hey, but drive safe. We're going to go right back to looking at the outbound volume. And when we look at this compared to years past, and we compare it to last year, we're about the same amount of volume moving today as we had moving out last year. And you can see the difference between years past. A lot of freight continues to move out. We see the rejections as well. And what rejections are that freight that's being rejected. We're saying, no, I'm not going to pull it. And we see it about 19% right now, 19.63%. And what we see and what will happen next week is that number will balloon up to about 25, 26% because trucks aren't out there, right? They're going to be, the trucks will be, heading home or, when they get home Monday, they're not going to go back out. And when we see the weather like this, Dave, come into play, it really does make a huge effect on this supply chain because, we just lost another day or two or possibly three because drivers, companies are in a bind right now. Hey, if you're a shipper receiver and you're just like, well, you're late on your appointment, you're going to have to change your approach on that. When that truck gets in, you may have to squeeze that appointment in.
You're going to have to. And,
Right.
and if you're not making that adjustment, all you're doing is hurting the supply chain down the line. I mean, you're hurting every single person. If you say, oh, no, well, we don't have another appointment till Tuesday. You know, that all that does is hurt everybody down the line. And, it just creates havoc, and it creates panic with the drivers, too, because
it's
now,
a major panic around that holiday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's panic anyway. And now what happens is that trucking company is set with a, or the independent contractor, do I set that truck another day? Do I just park that load and say, all right, forget it. I'm not going to deliver it till the Monday after Christmas. So
or New
redo
Year's.
that. And now think about this. Now we have more products sitting out there on trailers.
Yep.
And if the longer a trailer's out there, the more apt it is to get stolen around these holidays. Let me tell you, who works throughout the holiday are the crooks.
Absolutely.
This is their heyday. While everybody is taking off, this is when they clock in. It's time to go to work, baby. It's time to go to work because that trailer is going to be sitting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yep.
and it may not leave till Monday. I got 4 days to check on that load to start picking and choosing which load I'm going to take.
And they're not going to, and nobody's watching it because they're on holiday. So nobody's actually watching it. And you know what? They'll steal truck, trailer. They'll steal it all. I mean, they'll just take it all and use it. They'll just grab the truck. They'll drive it. In fact, they'll come back for another load if they can. I mean, that's what they'll do.
Yeah, drop a hook.
Drop a hook.
Hey, listen, we got, we just want to remind you, number one, there's nothing more important than safety. And we've got to always take in the weather into consideration. Not the money side. When it comes to, I'll tell you this right now, Drive Safe Dave, when it comes to the weather like we experienced yesterday, you can figure that a company of, say, 300 trucks will lose $20,000 for that day with slowdowns, with loss of productivity. $20,000. It's a lot of money in a day.
Yep.
However, you can't say that, it was worth the life of somebody for $20,000. I'm talking a fleet of 300.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It goes a long way. And no damages were done either. Nobody was involved in a wreck, no loss of life, and you have so many other things. I mean, not just even a simple rollover that or a simple turn or somebody cause a small accident, that still racks up, and that still has the potential for loss of life.
Yeah, so for that same fleet, and when we talk about productivity, the studies show that, again, that fleet will lose about that much money. And what Dave's really talking about is, hey, not only that, the money, but when you're sitting down and you're waiting that storm out, you're not moving. And when you start moving, you may get a few more miles in that day. You may create some revenue for that company, but you know what? You may also tip over. You may hit something. Something may blow into you.
Absolutely.
Causing more damage than you could have ever generated by those few stressful miles that you have. And it's just not worth it. We'll be back to you in about 60 seconds with more BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Hey, everybody. It's Drive Safe Dave here with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. As you know, winter is upon us, and with winter comes some difficulties and challenges. Now, if you live below or running below that 20 or I-10 corridor, you may not feel that pressure, but if you do, let's talk about a few little tips that we have. Tip number one, let's make sure we get over here and we drain these air tanks. Let's get that moisture out of there so that we make sure, because moisture and freezing cold temperatures don't mix. All they make is ice. Tip number two, remember when air temperature drops, so does pressure in these tires. You want to make sure that when you enter into or near cold temperatures, you make sure that your tire pressure is and cold pressure stays correct throughout these cold temperatures. You want to be safe out there because this is where the rubber meets the road. Tip number three, if it's extreme weather and extreme cold conditions, you may want to make sure that you use an anticoagulant or an anti-gel inside the diesel fuel so that it thins and doesn't gel up on you in the lines or anywhere else. Tip number four, as you know, when you enter into the West, there are certain regions that require you to have snow chains and or snow socks in that region. Make sure that you carry them. And tip number five, I'm going to give this one to you as a freebie. Carry with you a little bit of cat litter in your truck. That way, if you get a little bit stuck or if you get near a region that doesn't have a lot of grip, you can throw that down and give your truck that needed oomph to get out of those sticky or slippery situations. For more pertinent and safety information, you can always tune in Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time between 7 and 8 a.m. and get that needed information on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Big discussion right now about, do dogs speak? Do crows really speak? Do they think about what they say? Or do they just say and put words together without thinking?
I don't think.
Those are some deep thoughts and deep conversation we have during this segment. Let me tell you something. We're always prepping. Producer?
Yeah, I was just going to say, listen, just as dogs bark whenever they hear a doorbell, so do we here on the show talk whenever we see a bad video about something. You know, we are just reacting exactly how anything else would.
Pavlov's dog, is that what we got going on here?
Yep.
Stimulus response?
Yeah.
Right, so I do have something for you, Drive Safe Dave.
Come on.
I thought about this today. I was just reading over colors. You know, we talk about why, the school buses, why are they yellow? The fire and the ambulance, why are they red now, right? Because and you probably know the answer to that, but here's my question for you. When measuring the colors, such as a yellow or a red, what is that measured in? This is my version of Stump the Dover right now. What is that measured in, I guess? I'm trying to think the best way to answer that.
What is that measured
Yes,
in?
they have
wavelength?
No.
Okay, because they are
So
measured
one more try.
They are measured
No.
in wavelength because that's how they differentiate colors. It's a different wavelength of the spectrum.
Okay.
You're gonna have to be
Red
a
has
little bit
red has a, for example, red has a longer wavelength. That's not what wavelengths are measured in. What though? What is how do you measure wavelengths? It's a something meter.
something meter.
Yes. You need me to answer it for you?
Yeah, because
nanometer.
Okay, it's
a nanometer is what it is, and this is just another form of Stump the Dover to show that he's not as bright as he seems. When given a question like this without any prep, we kind of see that in Drive Safe Dave. It goes to that article we saw, and I'm going to kind of tie this together. That says neurologists and brain surgeons, they're not much smarter than you and I than I.
Notice how Sir Rick thinks he's smarter than all of us. But I'll tell you, what they're just trying to say is that we each have a talent that we can use in a certain way. We're all intelligent in how we use our brain, but not because you're a scientist or a physicist. They have specified, or they have basically learned a specific skill.
What is your secret weapon then, Drive Safe Dave? If you had a cape on and it had to do with intelligence only, what would that be that could save the world? Producer, you're coming up next, so get ready. What is yours?
Historical analysis.
That would save the world.
Absolutely.
How?
If you fail to study the past, you always are forever doomed to repeat it.
Not true. That is not true.
Yeah.
That is not
Great
true.
philosopher
Producer,
said so.
what is your secret sauce, sir?
Listen, if you're putting me to the gun and you're like, we're only saving you if you can save the world, I don't got much. I can make a decent cup of coffee. I think that's about what I can bring. I'll be honest with you. I can offer honesty in that moment, I guess. I don't think I have what it takes.
Is there ever any room for honesty, Drive Safe Dave?
You know, herein lies the problem. I think truth is relative.
Okay. Historical analysis over here is going to make sure that we don't repeat the past. Truth is relative, though.
Yeah.
You know.
It is relative. Truth is relative.
So, all right. Anyway, so it's good to know, and it's good to hear all these things. But Drive Safe, I'm going to move on. I got stuff to do. I'm just kind of proud of myself for that. Let's talk Christmas trees. All right, Christmas trees are beautiful, right? A couple things. Do you have a real tree, Drive Safe?
I have a tree we pull out of the attic every year and put up.
So it'd be fake tree. Producer, what about you?
I've got a fake tree, but my parents have it. I actually don't have a tree up this year. I don't. I
You don't
haven't had
celebrate
time.
Christmas?
No, I do have lights up. I have
somewhere
lights
else
up.
that
Okay.
wouldn't work.
Let me clarify.
I take presents. Don't get me wrong. But I do not celebrate the holiday, but all presents are welcome.
You're more than welcome to send me gifts, but I'm not going to
Your
celebrate.
tree's fake too.
No, I agree. I was just asking a question.
Your tree's
real
fake.
tree or fake tree? Real tree, some of the danger of that is that mess, right? I mean, you think about a real tree, the reason they're beautiful, they smell good. I love that smell of it, but they leave a mess, Drive Safe, Dave.
Oh, they do.
And in South Africa, let me tell you something. It gets a little more dangerous out there. Not just cleaning up the remnants on the floor. There is a video there from CNN yesterday. A snake inside that tree.
Okay. So
hold on. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm out on this. And there's a video that shows this snake, and this sucker's big.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous python too. I mean, it's a dangerous pit. It has venom.
It's a boom slang. It looks like a boom slang. What kind of snake is that?
A boom slang.
I think it's a viper. Yeah.
Huh?
A boom slang.
It looks like a boom slang.
Yeah, a boom slang. Have you used boom slang before this week ever in your vocabulary?
Listen, I grew up in Central America.
They have no boom slang.
I know a boom slang when I see one. I'm curious to see. That is not that's a boom slang. I'm telling you right now.
It's indigenous only to Africa, by the way, just so you know. Unless it was imported and you had
Have you ever heard of a zoo? You know what? You don't see elephants just running around the street out here, but you go to the local zoo.
I don't think this was a zoo animal.
Those.
I don't believe this to be a zoo animal. But I'll tell you what's weird. And I watched the video. This tree was trimmed. Like they've already put the lights up and the balls and everything on the tree. And then here we go. We've got a snake. So yeah, come on, producer.
Well, okay. To be completely fair here, and if you read through the article again, apparently the boom slang was a very shy snake. So maybe it was getting trimmed up. Did you see the
video? It didn't look shy.
Hey, it was shy whenever it was getting trimmed up. I'd be freaked out if there were 3 huge things clipping around me in my home, and I had an opportunity to escape. I'd be getting out. But initially, it's a shy snake, though it is one of the most venomous.
So what kind of snake was it?
Really? What is it?
What is it? What kind of? Anyway,
it's a non-shy snake.
You know what? So the snake, it was in there, and it did. I mean, so they got done. They decorated the tree.
That's what
it not only did it get trimmed up, no, it was fully decorated as well. In the house, everything's there. They're done doing it. They step back, and the cats are sitting there looking at the tree, right? The cats are looking at the tree. They're like, man, we did a great job. Look at the kitty cats just staring at the tree, only to find out them cats were staring at something else.
Snake.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. Those snakes freak me out.
I don't like snakes.
Any snake, especially the dreaded boom slang. You've got to watch out for the dreaded boom slang. You just got to. And Drive Safe Dave, secondly, outside of the boom slang, there's a guy here, right? And so what do they call? Well, they call the local snake catcher.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a local snake catcher, I'm just going to suggest this: move. Move. If somebody makes a living by catching snakes, and this isn't his first one, he's only been bitten once, he goes on to say, but he's removed hundreds of snakes from houses. I'm saying, if in fact you're living in a village, you're living in a small city or suburb, that you continue to have snake and a snake catcher can make a living by taking snakes out, move fast. That's my advice for you today, and that's my secret talent, that I would share with you, is giving great advice like that. Yeah. And I would encourage you, if you're going to move to the kingdom of Sir Rick. It is so pleasant. There's no snakes. There's no spiders.
There's no
wind. It's very subtle wind.
Lots of hot air, though.
Yeah, a lot of hot air.
Hey, more hot air coming to you in 60 seconds on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Hi, this is David Dover, also known as Drive Safe Dave. You are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Safety is what you want to talk about, and safety is what you want to be every single day. That's what we're here for. We're here to make it better.
The industry needs BCB Live so that it can find new and inventive ways to bring safety to the forefront for every single person out there on the road.
You got to be prepared to stop, and when you look at that and you understand the situation that you're in, you got to know that it's going to change. You got to expect it to change, and you can't run those lights.
You can watch BCB Live weekdays, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So what are you waiting for? Follow and subscribe to BCB Live today.
What? More, you know what? This is the kind of talk you don't need to hear on BCB Live during the break right there. We did, and producer, I want to give a big shout out to you for noticing Drive Safe Dave's haircut that he got 3 days ago. Kudos to that, Drive Safe. You're looking sharp there, and I just want to say, before we get to the, yes, no gates or lights.
No
Talk
gates or
to us
lights.
about that.
You know, no gates or lights. Sometimes you'll come across a railroad intersection that actually doesn't
I've
have.
never seen that sign anywhere.
No, it's a true sign, and you can ask drivers out there. This actually indicates a railroad crossing that doesn't have one of those gates or blinking
Does
lights.
it look like that?
It looks exactly like that. And it also has a railroad crossing sign above it, but I just wasn't enough room here to put both of them on there at the same time.
It's not just out there by itself then.
No, typically no.
Right.
But what they are trying to do is say, this is to warn you that it is up to you to make sure that the crossing is safe. So make sure that you do stop. Make sure you come to a complete stop. You look both ways, and you ensure that when you're crossing, and remember that a lot of the times when there aren't gates or lights, trains will be traveling at a high rate of speed. So you need to look way down the track or on a blinded curve. Make sure you pay special attention, because if you're moving across with a big rig, you've got a little bit longer time to get across the track. Make sure you're not taking that you're not delaying yourself on the track, because this usually indicates a place where they're not going to slow down. They're going to be moving through at a pretty quick pace.
All right. Hey, it's Thankful Thursday. It's our time to really recognize this. And Drive Safe, Dave, I need you to do me a favor, because we're not going to be the only ones. You know, it's getting on this Christmas week. Go out there into that office and find me a few folks to come in here and just say thank you. I think we've got to be people that can practice and show this. But what we want you to know is that we are so daggum thankful for what you do. And it's not just from Drive Safe Dave and myself, the producer that would tell you this all the time. Hey, it's from a lot of folks. You know, what you're doing out there is absolutely amazing, and we love it. And we wouldn't have what we have today without you. We wouldn't have the ability to come in here and work. We wouldn't have that ability to come in here and say, to have these computers, to do all the things that you allow us to do. And we want to thank you for that. Producer, where am I going? Come on over here. We got three ladies in here.
Just trying to make sure nobody walks in front of the camera.
You.
Yeah.
Drive Safe Dave, you may have to share your mic with them.
All right, here we go.
Do this here.
I'll fill it. You guys just take your microphones off. I'm gonna mute you while you're doing that, because it's gonna be really loud trying to touch everything while you're doing that. But yeah, now that we're all transferred over,
say thank you to the drivers. It's Thankful Thursday.
All drivers. We just want you to say, hey, so what this is so again, if you don't know this, we'll just make sure. We're talking right now to truck drivers across America right now, and what they've been doing during this COVID season, during this whole time, is running and making sure the supply chain, that freight's moving, that we're getting the clothes, we're getting Christmas gifts, we're doing all these. They've if you go back to last year, Dave, they've taken, they put their lives and really put them aside for the country. When the country needed product moved to grocery stores, they were out there making it happen, and it's our time to all, and we leave Thursday for a time for us to really say, hey, thank you for what you do. And that's really what it is right now, for y'all just to give them a thank you or a word of encouragement as they're out there doing all of these things that they do. So somebody go first. It doesn't matter who.
Well, I'm Riley, in case y'all don't know who I am. But I just want to say thank you for everything. You're more appreciated than you'll probably ever know. And, the world wouldn't turn without you guys. So thank you.
As the world turns.
Hi, my name is Kimmy, and we want to thank you for all you do, too. Without you, we wouldn't have all the supplies we need, and, you are appreciated more than, we probably show. But, be safe out there and take care.
Hello, I'm Amanda. I just wanted to say thank you guys for all that you do all the time. You spend away from your families, doing what you do for the country, bringing us the things that we need to survive for our families. What you do for everyone else is, it don't show for, for yourself, but for us, we appreciate it. We wouldn't have the things that we have for our families if you guys weren't out there with your time away from your families on the busy, dangerous streets out there doing what y'all do. So we are grateful. We're thankful for you guys, and you're very appreciated. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Anybody up here besides myself that hablas the Espanol? Anybody? Can you speak? Hey, we have drivers as well that are out there that speak Spanish, that love that. Can we give them a little thank you in Spanish as well? Let's do it.
Muchas gracias a todos los choferes que están ahí arriesgando sus vidas por nosotros y nuestras familias. Están bien agradecidos por todo lo que hacen, estar aparte de sus familias, por por nosotros y están muy agradecidos. Tengan mucho cuidado y siempre regresen con su familia.
Awesome. Dover, give me some German. Let's go. Let's do it.
Be careful.
Hey, we want to thank you for being part of BCB Live. Continue to stay safe. You heard it right here. We are so grateful for all that you are. We'll see you here in 60 seconds on BCB Live, the safest station. Hold on a second. Y'all got to say it. On BCB Live, station in the nation. On BCB Live,
The safest station in the nation.
you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety. One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Again, thankful Thursday. Thank to each and every one of the drivers out there and your families who have to sit at home and worry as we do here. And great job yesterday, battling the winds. Your patience, your understanding of the situation was much appreciated at BCB Live. So again, hope all drivers out there tuning in were safe yesterday during some really unprecedented winds. We get them every once in a while, but yesterday was just something amazing. So again, thank you all for being safe and tuning in this morning. Hey, our traffic, again, the DFW area looks about the same, right? Same hot spots, 35 northbound, 35W as you approach the 820 loop in Fort Worth. And then again, north of Fort Worth, outside the loop, where there's a lot of construction that goes on just north of that loop as well. 30, always a problem as you head into Arlington. That is the eastbound direction. And the loop on Dallas, also 635 and southern here, 20, looks to have some 15 to 20-minute delays as well for the rush hour traffic. And again, it looks like the northbound lane of the western side of the loop also has a little bit of a congestion. And 67 coming up into the city, also the northbound lane, you're going to experience some delays this morning as you come into the DFW Fort Worth area. Houston, downtown looks really bad. The loop looks pretty good. Just a little bit of a slowdown here on over by Jersey Village on 290 coming in, and on the outer northern, just the very tip of the loop out there on the north west corner. 45, a little bit of problem in South Houston, and 10, just a small backup just as you pass Katy and the outer edge of the loop, the most outer loop on 99 there. You should experience a 5 to 10 minute delay as you approach the inner turnpike, if you will, tollway, I mean, in the Houston area. So again, Houston, you look pretty good this morning, all in all, considering. Kansas City. Hey, Kansas City looks great. Just not a lot going on at all. There's just hardly any red. So Kansas City drivers, if you're in the Kansas City area, enjoy your commute. Help keep it that way. Slow down and increase your space. Chicago looks good again today. The loop looks great. A little bit here on 55 Oaklawn. 294 loop, also. But coming in from Indiana into Illinois or going the other direction, both look good. Some of the hot spots aren't there. Bolingbrook looks great. Aurora looks good. and even up in Elgin and Schaumburg, you all look great up there as well. So all the major interstates look really clear as you come in and out of the city, and the loop looks good this morning in Chicago. Little wind left over from yesterday's wind system, so maybe slow down a little bit. Keep it down to 55 for the next couple of hours, and you'll probably see the conditions improve to just regular normal day up there in the Chicago. Atlanta looks good considering what it has been, but it's still Atlanta, folks. And so again, the areas are smaller. We have a little bit westbound at Lithonia, and as you come into the loop, you've got another delay there. Eastbound on 20, as you come into the airport there, you also have about a 15-minute delay there. The rest of the loop looks really, it's broken up, so you should get through it pretty good. The northern loop always has a problem in both directions, Sandy Springs to Chamblee. And then again over here in Vinings, the northbound direction there. And then as you come to the merge, 285 and 20, you have a little bit on the southbound area as well. But again, the loop looks the best it has in a while. Also, if you happen to be on 19 north of Sandy Springs and Dunwoody, you have an issue coming south there, it looks like, as well. But Atlanta, just a normal commute this morning. Nothing major jumping out there. And we look like New Philadelphia looks pretty good. I mean, just again, when I say pretty good, it's just typically normal rush hour traffic. And there's nothing that just jumps out. A little bit of an issue here as you split off the New Jersey Turnpike near Haddonfield, New Jersey. And then again, we have construction or whatever's going on along that river. It's been that way for about a couple weeks now. So again, not real bad, just some stop and go traffic there. And of course, the turnpike all the way back to Conshohocken has some issues as well. But Radnor looks good. Marple Township, you know, that's usually all red down there. Now it's just down there as you get closer to 495 and the river and the airport. But all in all, New Jersey side looks pretty good, as well as the Philadelphia area this morning. Nashville, wow, this looks really good compared to yesterday, folks. 24 is usually all the way backed up down to here. As you can see, we are, is that Stone? Yeah, there we go. Just north of 266 this morning. So a little bit better improvement there. We do have a little bit of an issue coming on the westbound side of 40 as you hit this 2440 merge. That's always an issue in Nashville. So be ready for that. A little bit back up and some patience. 31E has some issues this morning on the southbound lane from Hart Lane all the way to East Nashville. And then, of course, 65 and 24 up in the northern part always has a little bit of a slowdown, but it looks typically normal today. The big issue that's usually not there, looks like we've got a big problem on the eastbound lane of 40 on the western side of Nashville. Down here by Walnut Hills, all the way up to Charlotte Park. You should, as you get to the 155 merge point, you should see a backup there. So it looks like about a 25-minute delay there, potentially in the Nashville area. Otherwise, just regular rush hour traffic in the Nashville area. As we look at our Baltimore and D.C., looks pretty good. I mean, it just looks typical. Again, always congested. 295 looks pretty good, except for down here at South Laurel and a small area at Jessup. 95 looks really good. Of course, the northern part of the loop, Silver Springs, all the way over to McLean and Brookmont has an issue. And just some spots on 270 as you come southbound. The southbound lane near just north of Clarksburg, then again at Germantown, again at Gaithersburg and Rockville as you come into the loop around the D.C. area. You're going to have some slow go this morning. A little bit of a problem back here at Gainesville on 66. Both directions are like, but mainly the eastbound direction has the darkest red right there at Sudley as you approach Centerville. And then again, 97 as you get over Annapolis also has a little bit of a slowdown in the D.C. Baltimore area this morning. Indianapolis looks really good. We do not have the typical slowdown on 70, just the eastern side of the city. It looks smooth sailing. A little bit of a 5-minute, maybe 10-minute issue down here south of Beech Grove, where 65 meets with that 465 loop. And again, that's going to be your eastbound lanes, it looks like. And then again, the northbound lanes as you approach 865, 465, the loop there, you can see a slowdown as well. But Indianapolis, you look good this morning, so be patient there. Hey, as we go through some weather, just kind of want to be mindful of, the winds have moved out, but what was pushing a lot of them winds, right behind them are these thunderstorms. So we have some severe storms popping up, potential. Let's see what the current radar looks like, just see if they're actually developed yet. There you go. So this line was expected. We talked yesterday about from Oklahoma, from McAllister, all the way through St. Louis. And so that has drifted south a little bit by now into Arkansas area. And again, when we look at the forecast, we have that potential for some strong pockets in Arkansas, mainly as you approach the Memphis area. So it looks like these are going to intensify. The forecast is for them to intensify as they move a little bit east and southeast this morning. Some snow up there to go with the winds in Minnesota. And again, some snow in Nevada, Salt Lake City. Stay tuned in, and when we show our videos later, some videos, you're going to see some winter weather that caused some issues. We always worry about the 6, 8, 10 inches, but sometimes it's that 1 to 2 inches that causes all the havoc because drivers don't slow down. So again, be mindful of the snow. No matter how light it is, it creates problems. Speeds must be reduced. No matter how heavy you are on ice or slippery roads, it doesn't matter. Again, and we've got some strong thunderstorms popping up. As we look at our wind, there you can see it's pretty much moved into Canada, a little bit in the Detroit and Chicago area. As I said, we got a little bit going on there. Rest of the country looks pretty good. And when we look at the current conditions, again, right here at Detroit, we've got some 46-mile-an-hour gusts 38 minutes ago. So get it down to 50 if you're going to drive in that Detroit area. Again, this should, as we move it out a little bit, so as you can see, by 11 p.m., Detroit comes down a little bit, right? And all the area, so it moves up. So, hey, this is going to be short-lived. Just a little bit of lingering the southern edge that you've got. We still have warnings up for the northern halves of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, all of Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You're going to need to keep it down under 55, 50 in that area as you move through there today. But the forecast is for this to continue to move up. And as we go into the afternoon, there you can kind of see it it really gets kind of lingers, but it stays up to the north. The rest of the country should be in good shape. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with some safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live, safest station in the nation. Buckle up, Bob. On Thankful Thursday, you've got you got a bunch of drivers out here. You have the world out here waiting on your blessing, sir.
And we give it to them. The winds are gone. And again, just want to thank each and every one of you for your patience.
Did he just put himself in? Is it myself, God, and
yes,
Mother Nature? We made a
the
decision.
winds are
today.
gone.
We are on a first name basis, so
Let it be written. Let it be done.
I do. You do look like a pharaoh. Yeah. Oh man. So, but yeah, a great job by their parents. Ain't he the one that said it?
It is. It was Yul Brynner in Ten Commandments.
Yes. But again, great patience yesterday out there. Man, it was dangerous. And again, we we had a lot of warnings out there, got drivers off the road. And again, you always have to remember, this isn't about money or anything else. It's one thing, and one thing only goes into these decisions, and that's to protect life. And it was just really dangerous. And you're going to see some videos that not only the winds were out there, but we also had some light snow. And again, you see a lot of accidents happen in the light snow because, and we're going to talk a little bit about it this morning about defensive driving, but they think, I'm heavy, it's only 1 inch. It's not dangerous, but it is. In some cases, it may even be more dangerous because it creates these slick spots that you just don't believe are out there. So again, as we talked all week about holiday safe driving tips, number 4 is really applicable. Did I say that right?
You did say it right.
Throughout the year. It doesn't matter whether it's holiday, weather, or what. And that's just to drive defensively, right? With the increased holiday traffic and the road conditions going in there, putting safety first by just let impatient, aggressive drivers go. Don't get caught up in it. And then again, you protect yourself at intersections. We've seen this pop up recently, and again, we're going to see some more today where you've got to slow down and be prepared to stop at these intersections. That is the defensive posture that you really need to be to protect life in all situations. So as we go into some videos here, we're going to see here, there's 2 places that are just unacceptable. I wouldn't want to be this car. Get out of there, and it finally does. And then the truck behind it is, why would you put that? I mean, there is nothing that can happen to that white car but that good in this situation if something goes wrong. I mean, they're caught in nowhere. There's no reason for this. Great job by this driver staying back. Again, you've got trucks just unprofessional, tailgating each other. Again, this driver is keeping some space as best as they can. But great job here. But you can see on the right, the trucks are tailgating. That's less than a half a second, folks. I mean, there's just no reason to do that. The industry, when you see these on a CB, I don't know, maybe the drivers can share. Is it a good idea to get on a CB and say, hey, maybe back off a little bit and, give the guy some space? Or is that not a frowned upon in the trucking world?
They probably don't have a CB anymore, but
Well,
I would say this,
does.
is that, you know what, we want to continue to share these videos, share the message that when you find yourself in that situation, you have to, and what I'm going to say is that they just don't realize how close they are. They're not thinking, they're not counting out loud. They don't realize genuinely drive safe that man, if something happens in front of me, I have no out. They don't think about that, or they wouldn't do it, right? You wouldn't intentionally put your life at risk.
Yeah, and here you've got two trucks running side by side this close. There is no out except to the right. A very dangerous situation, and you know what? It is, and I'll bet you that flatbedder's got a CB. They just do, so they can talk at construction sites. But what a weird situation, a dangerous situation. Great video, shows what's going on. And it is a precarious situation for all 4 of these trucks.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, too. When we talk about the big picture, it's been a while since we defined that. But in the guidance, if you will, when the safety guidelines, the big picture is all the way across the traffic on the other opposite direction, all the way to that tree line on the right. The big picture just isn't on the 2 lanes in your road. So, again, you got to have that big picture to see, do I have an out? As you can see, very little on the right because you've got tree lines there. So, again, and you've got the dividers there, the retaining cables, I guess they are, on the left. So you really don't have an out there. There starts out pretty good. The speed is down 50 miles an hour, and then it turns in a quick lane change. There couldn't have been that much clearance. You see it disappear in the mirror, but there couldn't have been, unless bobtailing, there couldn't have been that much clearance behind from this truck there on the left. Hey, be patient, right? Just be patient and make a nice, steady lane change. Here's a great job by driver. Again, speed management and space are perfect. You got a last-minute lane change there. 2 of them. You can see him squeezing in up there. And great job as driver staying back, recognizing the situation, and that, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I will get where I'm going, but I'm going to do it safely.
Good job in the tunnel, right? I mean, that's
Dallas.
Yeah, that's over in
area.
Yeah.
Again, here on the roads, the reminder, the weather, right? It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of precipitation that came out here, but again, speed. Speed is a factor in every accident. It's the number 1 accident. Just a few miles slower can prevent things. And as you can see, this truck driver looks like he lost a little control. You can see some of the tire marks there approaching it, and it looks like it was heading this direction from the best I can tell with all the tire marks there, and just turned around. Looks like it might have kept it upright somehow as well. Very lucky.
I'm going to go out and on a limb and say there's no doubt he kept it upright. But drive safe. You think he was going? What happened there? Was that coming from the other lane?
He got turned around.
Watch that again. Show me this. Where's it getting?
The tire marks into
he got turned around.
into the weather on the left there. See them all right
See
there?
that?
He spun around and he got,
that's the second set is the trailer tires, right? Tandems.
he got spun around.
Oh, it's just scary out there. And you know, you just want to make sure that you recognize and drive safe. I'm going to say this is, you know, we see the vehicles on the other way, the big trucks seem like they have some pretty good speed going on that way. We've got to slow down. You have to just go to where really what you're comfortable with. Just because the other trucks are going faster, if you don't feel comfortable, and then you take your experience as well. If this is your first year, your second year on these roads, and you've got to just go slow.
Yeah, see, and you look at and you ask, how does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens is that trailer is where the weight is, and it starts to drive. When you lose control of the vehicle, and what happens is the weight in the trailer takes over, and it begins to drive and go forward because it can't stop. So it's the one that takes the lead, and the lightest part of that vehicle is the cab, so it takes the tail. And physics is going to make that happen, especially when you're trying to stop. That's how you get spun around, and that's why trucks jackknife, is because the trailer is trying to drive instead of the tractor.
I think that's a great point. I think a lot of times we get hung up with what we're doing in our truck, and we forget about that. The trailer is one of the most important things in inclement weather, isn't it? Because it's the heaviest in most cases. And so, like you said, it can start to, once it goes, it's now taking you for the ride.
Yeah, once it gets to a certain point around you, it's the one that's going to be driving. So, yeah, and I tell you what I like most about this video is not the fact that the truck's on the other side. I feel really sorry for that driver that's right there. But you know what? This inclement weather, this driver's taking a very good approach on a bright, sunny day, on inclement weather, slowing down and not exceeding the speed limit and doing everything that he can to maintain control of the vehicle in a very difficult situation. And right now, this probably, without question, is the best speed you can travel on this right here. And we'll push through it probably in an hour or two. And with the sun out like that it is, it looks like it's going to be a great and wonderful day. It may be a great travel. Good job, driver.
Yeah, we've seen accidents in the past. One of the things that it creates is as things start to stall, we forget about the ice patches, right? The road looks clear, and all of a sudden you hit a little patch of ice that can take you and derail you.
Yeah, you won't forget about them long.
No. Again, here, the light's yellow. The speed was such. Don't need to run through the yellow light, folks. Just be patient. Go ahead and stop. Intersections are one of the dangerous places on the highways and roadways. So, again, plenty of time. Speed was great. Just a bad decision to go through a yellow light right there when we could have. This driver could have been able to stop.
You know, and what's scary about this is that as you watch the vehicle in front, we're not really slowing down as the vehicle comes to a slow. We're timing it so that we pass not only the yellow, the intersection, but if that truck has to come to a stop because of a pedestrian or because of another vehicle, you're putting yourself in a difficult situation here. Just go ahead and stop. The light's green, the light's red.
Yeah, and I wonder, and I really do, what was, I wonder what this driver's carrying in that trailer right now. Is he carrying a load of hearts? Is he organs? Is there something in there that's way worth the minute and a half he was going to lose at this? Was he en route? Was this driver en route with a load of, transplants? I mean, is that what it was? Because, and you have a whole, hospital waiting on you.
No.
Because Drive Safe Dave.
That's a hazmat.
We're a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, this light is yellow for 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
And we make that decision that whatever it is on my back end is worth this chance. It's worth a ticket. It's worth hurting somebody. It's worth killing somebody. It's worth the let's just face it. Let's just say it took him 2 minutes. It's worth the mile I went. It's worth a mile and a half. That and if I'm getting paid by the mile, if you're getting paid $2 a mile, was that decision worth that $2? Was it worth it? Because that's what it comes down to. And you don't make that decision if you're thinking about life, safety, your insurance, your ticket, your profession, your career in this industry, and you run that light. It doesn't make any sense.
Terrific point. You're basically saying a life's worth $2 or whatever. And it's like we all know if we asked them, they'd say it's priceless, right? but then our decisions say otherwise.
looks
Again, you can see wet, just starting to thaw a little bit in the area, and again, another truck upright, which is good, but again,
slid off
the road.
Yep.
And again, it just got to slow down, folks. Speed is just critical.
So buckle up, Bob. When you're doing your when you're talking to the safety directors out there on BCB Live, when you're putting those alerts out, saying, hey, you don't need to go in this area. The reason why we're saying that many times is that it's not worth getting in this situation right here. Drive Safe Dave, you've been out there, you've done it. You're white knuckling at this moment. I'm saying, you know what? Let that thaw out. Don't, and so when you see alerts from your trucking company that say, hey, you know what, shut down now, and you're like, I'm 100 miles away. I'm 200 miles away. Why am I shutting down now? Because there's no point in getting into this right here. We've got to work together, and we've got to appreciate those alerts and those, the weather, Mother Nature. I just can't imagine, Dave. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. This gives me anxiety because I don't want to be out there on that crap.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is probably, notice how much traffic there is. This to me is a slowdown maybe due to an accident because of this.
Yes.
And
for sure.
And this is everybody being pushed down and slowed down because of this. Probably from the night before. This may be a morning run. This may be an early morning time from when the weather changed bad or got drastic. And everybody, it's cleared up a little bit. Everybody's coming out of the truck stops. Everybody's getting out there.
Yep.
But this is what you're running into for everybody that last night chose not to pull over, right? Everybody that chose, you know what, I'm going to brave the storm and roll in the storm. And you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the stress. And you may make it, but I'm telling you what, you're worn out. You come down a mountain in the snow or you come across bad weather like this, you are blistered when you're done.
Yeah, and there's moments, and it's a crazy thing about weather. I mean, you can do all you were doing. You can prep all you want to, but you have no idea what can happen up to you 60 miles from where you are. There's no alerts yet because nothing's happened yet. You see it in Wyoming with the wind. I bet you this is in Arizona, somewhere up there, right? Is this Arizona?
Arizona.
We saw the weather yesterday in Arizona, and sometimes it happens, and now you're in it.
Coming out of Winslow, looks like.
There you go. You're in it, and though you're in it, you can't just pull off the road now. Now you've got to slow your speed down, right? Get your mindset back into safety first because you're not going anywhere fast in this.
Oh, no, you're not. No, obviously not.
I mean, you're not going anywhere, so mentally you got to slow it down too.
And here's the new technology out there, and again, it just gives the driver all kinds of information. 68 and a 70. This is still tailgating. So wanted to show this video just because it may not feel like you're tailgating. But again, at 68, you are doing, and just as a reminder, all drivers out there, at 65 miles an hour, you are traveling 100 feet per second. And before you even begin to slow down, you will travel 2 to 2.5 seconds by assessing a problem, hitting the brakes, and then beginning to slow down. So when you're less than that 2 seconds behind, that means you're going to hit them. If they stop before you, you're going to hit them before you even start to slow down.
And part of that new technology, producer, if you want to show that last video again, is I want you to kind of touch into that because what you see in that upper right-hand corner now is the miles per hour that you're driving. Bob, I'm going to ask you this because it seems like the technology is also out there, and maybe it says, and I can't see it, that says how far you are behind. Where is that at?
Yes, the new technology does say, it'll say, and what I really love about it doesn't just say you're 1 second behind. It says 0.9 seconds to impact. I mean, it really hits home.
Is it not going to say it on the screen?
Yeah, it should say it up there in the top corner.
Okay, gotcha. I just can't see it then.
And then also the new technology gives the driver a quick, hey, you're following too close, back off. So it gives them that instruction right away.
And when you hear that, man, just, you know what? Maybe we need to get that in Buckle Up Bob's voice or Drive Safe Dave's voice, telling him to, hey, back off, back off, back off. Say that, Drive Safe Dave.
Back it off, back it off, back it off.
Maybe that's what we need, and maybe that will help you make a difference. Hey, it is Thursday. We're so thankful for all that you do. We're so grateful for your sacrifices, and we're so, you know what? I couldn't be more happy in the fact that, you know, so many drivers out there, they looked at what was presented in that weather, and they shut it down because they placed value on safety, on life, on their safety record, on the damage to the independent contract, on their insurance, on the company that they drive for. So many great things happened out there. Hey, kudos to each and every one of you. Drive safe, Dave. Close this out with a prayer, my
Dear
friend.
Heavenly Father, give us the ability today to say thank you to those that need it, to those that deserve it, and those that should be given the thanks that they definitely should have today. Father, also give us the ability today to go out and make great decisions today. Give us the ability to do better than we've ever done before and to be a blessing upon somebody else today in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Father, give us the strength and the courage to do the right thing, no matter how hard it is or how difficult it may be. Give us that ability today to do that. Father, give us everything that you can today to make us safe for one another and a blessing for one another. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. BCB Live, safest station in the nation. We'll see you this afternoon. Stay safe out there.